Chapter 16. The bird walked in, not hopped, walked like a person, like those city pigeons he had seen. Head bobbing, all business, cool as you please, like it owned the joint. Walked across the windowsill onto the back of Palmer's hand, strolled up his right arm, nipped Palmer's earlobe. Ow! And hopped into the top of Palmer's head. Palmer stood rock still, afraid to move even his eyeballs. Pointy little toes were moving in his hair. It felt scratchy good. The bird made a sound like a chuckle, like it had just heard a joke, and in a wing flap was gone. Palmer turned and followed, and found it, walking across the floor. Seen from behind, the pigeon waddled. Hunger had not been its problem. It was pudgy. The bird hopped onto Palmer's bed and took a walk around, with each step nodding approvingly as if to say, "So far, so good. I think I'll like this place." Its orange eye blinked. It flew to the bookcase, ambled across the booktops, pecked at pages. It checked out the TV, but did not seem interested in the program of the moment, the 5 o'clock news. It stepped through the circular UHF antenna like a show dog through a hoop, and moved up to the top of the dresser, where its waddle tipped over Palmer's family picture, the candle he made at school, and everything else that had been standing. From there it swooped down to Palmer's stack of comic books. The landing was a disaster. As soon as the bird's feet touched down, the flimsy cover of the top comic gave away, and the bird, with a startled "Oh!" Palmer imagined, tumbled beak over toes to the floor. It felt a white, quarter-sized glop where it landed, and marched over to the wastebasket. Palmer yowled with laughter, just as his mother gave in, asking, "What's so funny?" Palmer stiffened. He blurted, "Nothing, something on TV." The wastebasket was behind the door she just had opened. He willed her not to look. She frowned. "Why is the window open? It's cold in here." He jumped up and shut the window. "Time for dinner?" Before she could answer, he snapped off the TV in the light, pulled the door shut, and bounded downstairs, announcing, "I'm starving. Let's eat." When Palmer returned to his room after dinner, he did not see the pigeon. The white glop on the floor had dried to powder. He kept looking in the corners, under the bed. Finally he found the bird in the closet. On the high shelf, it was resting on its stomach on the shoebox that housed the toy soldiers. Its eyes were closed. Palmer emptied his pocketful of Frankenpuffs onto his homework desk. He took off his sneakers so he would not make too much noise walking around. He turned out the overhead light and turned on the desk lamp. He cleaned up the white spot on the floor. He did his homework. He watched some TV. He mounted some Beetle Bailey comics in his collection book. He ate his snack. He read 2 chapters of a book. He did everything he usually did on a school night, except he did it more quietly, and with a warm, giggly, "I've got a secret feeling," and with a peek into the closet every 5 minutes. When his mother came in to say good night and to ask if he had brushed his teeth, he knew it was time to have a talk with her. "Mom?" "Yes?" She was standing in the doorway, her hand on the knob. "Do you think maybe when you come to my room from now on, could you knock?" He had tried to say it casually, in his best no-big-deal voice, hoping she would receive it just as casually, reply with a shrug. "Sure, no problem." Ha! When did his mother ever make it that easy? She stood staring at him from the doorway, her eyes blinking, her expression a total blank, like he had just spoken to her in a foreign language. Then a faint amusement overcame her face, and she said, "Okay," casually, with a shrug. "Amazing." She smiled and closed the door. Too amazing. What if she wasn't as casual as she acted? What if she came around snooping? He had to give her a reason. He opened the door. She was halfway down the stairs. "You want to know the reason?" She stopped, turned, looked up at him. "Okay." "Well," he said, "it's like, I'm getting older now." He stared at her. How could he say this? She said it for him. "And you're a boy and I'm a girl, and you're getting too big for girls to see you in underwear, even if girl is your mother. So you want a warning so you'll have time to cover yourself up, right?" He nodded. "Yeah. Just one question." "What?" "Aren't you still a little young for that?" "I am mature for my age." She nodded thoughtfully. "Oh, I see." She started down the stairs, stopped, turned back. "How about, besides knocking, if I blow a whistle when I'm on my way?" Her eyes were twinkling. "Mom, am I still allowed to wash your underwear?" Palmer closed the door. In another second, he'd be laughing. Palmer went to bed that night with a grin on his face. For the first time in his life, he was not the only sleeper in his room. He did not turn on the nightlight.